Sustainability is critical for business today because business has significant impacts on issues of people and planet that we care about deeply, and rightly so. Some of these issues, like climate change or biodiversity, are profoundly important, if not existential. They can certainly challenge the conditions under which we live and even pose a risk to our survival as a species. Moreover, business itself can be directly or indirectly impacted by sustainability. Directly impacted, for example, in its operations. If we think about how adverse weather events like flooding have disrupted supply chains or made raw materials difficult to source. Indirectly impacted if stakeholders, like employees or customers, respond positively or negatively to what they see businesses doing or not doing on sustainability. Businesses need to prioritize sustainability because business interests are at stake, as well as the fact that businesses can play a significant role in addressing the pressing sustainability issues we face today. Business interests are at stake in two ways. First off, sustainability provides business opportunities. Attention to sustainability by a business can, for example, strengthen corporate and brand reputation, identify new product and market opportunities, and help a company win the war for talent. Second, by contrast, ignoring sustainability can entail increased costs and a loss of business as key stakeholders like customers and employees go elsewhere, or possibly even punish the firm by supporting boycotts and disparaging the brand. There is, in short, a multifaceted business case for attention to sustainability. A business case that's grounded in how stakeholders judge company sustainability performance and how they respond to it. The answer, simply put, is that having sustainable operations is the right thing to do. A deeper and more nuanced explanation for social or moral responsibility when it comes to sustainability can look to the arguments for social or moral responsibility more generally, including ultimately those that draw on moral philosophy and theories of ethics. As management guru Peter Drucker observed over 50 years ago, one is responsible for one's impacts, whether they are intended or not. This is the first rule. There is no doubt regarding management's responsibility for the social impacts of its organization. Because one is responsible for one's impacts, one minimizes them. In other words, a business is responsible for the problems it creates, which with regard to sustainability means addressing the social and environmental harms it has contributed to. This could, for example, be around poor working conditions, or even abuses of human rights in supply chains, or mining companies despoiling the environment. Drucker also argued that business should do more than clean up the messes for which it is responsible. It should also, in his view, address broader social and environmental problems, not least because it is often in a position to do so. In his day, he wrote about the problems of American inner cities and proposed interventions by business to help alleviate these problems, such as employment schemes for the long-term unemployed. Today, we might think of companies reducing greenhouse gases and working towards net zero, or efforts by companies sourcing coffee or cocoa to ensure farmers receive a living wage. Or more radically, it could be companies pioneering entirely new technologies that aim to replace less sustainable alternatives, such as companies that are today developing lab-grown meat products. To go deeper, one can look to justifications for embracing more sustainable business operations in theories of moral philosophy. Social contract theory, for example, says that society consents to business activities, but with the requirement that business meets certain expectations, the terms of the social contract. That would surely include cleaning up the messes that business creates. So boards are the long-term stewards of the company. Board members have a fiduciary duty to consider the risks to the company, including those posed by unsustainable practices or emerging sustainability challenges in the environment that might be missed or underestimated by executives who typically have a more short-term focus. There are sustainability megaforces out there that might not pose a current threat, but could do so in the future. Climate change is the most obvious current example, but it could equally be water scarcity, deforestation, or wealth inequality. It is for boards to consider this bigger picture and hold management to account. Boards are also attentive to corporate purpose, which often speaks to the role of the firm in considering its social and environmental impacts. Is it a good corporate citizen? So ESG is really just another way of saying sustainability. But what it does is make the underlying governance part explicit, as well as the social and environmental. Good governance is required for effective action on social and environmental impacts, as well as being important for a variety of other reasons, including ultimately our faith in the market system. The sharing economy is, in principle, an excellent way of lowering harmful sustainability impacts by using platforms that enable sharing of resources that would otherwise be underutilized. It's about having less stuff and instead borrowing it for a fee from others as needed. So instead of owning a car, one might use a car sharing service such as Zipcar, or a ride sharing service such as Uber. So radical corporate sustainability starts from the premise that business as usual won't be enough to address the immense sustainability challenges the world faces today. Just take climate change. Every summer in the Northern Hemisphere, it seems as if the world is on fire. In many places, it is. As well as wildfires over southern Europe and the west coast of the US, not least Los Angeles, there is flooding and other extreme weather events around the world. The past 10 years were the warmest ever, and in 2024, global warming exceeded the 1.5 degrees centigrade limit, as set at the Paris COP in 2015 for the entire year. While most companies claim to be doing something on sustainability, it's rarely more than tinkering at the edges. We need business action that really moves the dial. In my course on radical corporate sustainability, we look at what it takes for business leaders and their companies to engage in sustainability initiatives that aim to make a fundamental difference in addressing the sustainability challenges facing the world today. We refer to the familiar examples, such as Patagonia and Unilever, but also less familiar examples, such as DSM and the efforts of its resins and functional materials division to entirely eliminate chemicals of high concern. These are harmful additives that are found, for example, in flooring products. We look in this course at the enabling factors for real action on sustainability and the obstacles that need to be overcome, as well as the leadership required to make this happen.